Okay, all right, guys. So I'm not here today. So I am going to go ahead and I'm doing this lesson just so we are not behind. So I'm doing the recording for the lesson. All right. So we learn on lesson 32 about the trig ratios. So today we are going to learn about the inverse trig function. So usually we will be using the trig ratios to find the missing side of a triangle. Now this time we are going to use the inverse to find a missing angle this time. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first thing we have here, we need to find. And so we have right here, if you know the sine, cosine, or tangent ratio of an angle, you can use the inverse of the ratio, which is written with the little -1 on top, to find the measure of an angle. All right, so that is called the inverse. So make sure you guys pull up the calculator from Teams. All right, the EOC calculator, because that's what I'll be using to show you guys what to do here. All right, so again, make sure your calculator is set on degree. All right, so you need to find the value of x. So this time it is we need to find the missing angle here. So first thing we are going to do, as always, is label. So if my angle is here, so this will be O, this is always H, and then this one is going to be A. All right, so next step, which side have a given information. All right, so we have O and H. So remember or Sokotoa. All right, so it's the same thing. Now, since we know O and H, so here we are going to go ahead and use sine. So it's going to be sine of x, which would, because we do not know what degree we're talking about now, equal to O over H, which is going to be 15 to 24. Okay, now because we are finding the missing angle, now we are going to use the inverse. So it's going to be x equal sine. So we use the inverse 15 over 24. All right, so it's very simple. It's the same setup. And then we go ahead and put x, we move sine, but then when we move sine, we have to do the inverse of sine. So now we'll go to our calculator. So we're going to do, all right, so it was sine. So inverse sine is right here. Click that, and 15 to 24. So 15, oopsie, 15 to 24. All right, and that gives us 38.68, or we can say 38.7. All right, since they want us to round to the nearest tenth, so we're looking at x here is 30. It's going to be 38.7 degrees. Okay, so remember here we are finding the missing angle. All right, so let's go ahead and try another one. All right, so here again we have this angle here. So if I'm sitting here, this is O, this is H, and this is A. Now again, which side have information on it? In this case we have A and H, so we have to use cosine. So it's going to be cosine of x. Again, we do not know the degree, the angle, equal to 8 over 11. And now to solve for x, we do the inverse. So to get the degree, so it's going to be the inverse cosine of 8 over 11. All right, so we just go to our calculator. And we do, again, we're doing the inverse cosine. That's the one with the little negative. And then 8, 11, just double checking. 8, make sure your 8 over 11. All right, and we get 43.3. I'll go ahead and pause the video and then try number 3 by yourself and see if you can do it. All right, so welcome back. All right, so again here, label. So this is H, O, and A. Again, opposite. So this time we know O and A, so we have to use TOA. Oops, I had put an H here. So we have to use TOA here. All right, so that's going to be tangent. And then opposite over adjacent, which is going to be 20. 20 over 37. Again, to solve for the degree, we do the inverse tangent. 20 over 37. All right, 20 over 37 tangent. So inverse tangent, 20. And we get 28.4 when we round to the 10th place, 28.4. Okay. All right, so let's move on to number 4. So again, always label. So this will, if this is my angle, opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. So here we know A and H, so we have to use cosine. And that would be 18 over H, which is 23. And now we get the inverse. Okay, so now we go and just plug it on the calculator. So 18 over 23 cosine. So inverse cosine 18 divided by 23. And we get 38.5 degrees. Okay, so we get X is... Okay, so that will be the measure of that angle right here. All right, I'm not going to go ahead and do 5 and 6. I don't want this to be too long because we did an example of sine, cosine, tangent, of all 3, basically. All right, so next, let's move on to the word problems. All right, so here we have a ladder leaning against a wall, makes an angle of 75 degrees with the ground. So we have a ladder here. So here's my wall, here's the ladder, okay? And it makes an angle of 75 degrees with the ground. Here's the ground. And then if the foot of the ladder is 6 feet from the base of the wall, so this right here would be 6 feet. They want to know what is the length of the ladder X. So again, if I'm here, this would be O. Let me use different color. So this would be O, A, and H. All right, so here we will have to use cosine because that's the one with the cast. So we know A and H, so that'll be cosine. But this time here we know the degree. So this is one of the old questions from last week. So cosine 75 degrees will equal to 6 over X. Okay, so remember here, what we have to do is to switch them place. We need to remember that we switch X and cosine of 75 space. So now it's going to be 6 over cosine of 75 degrees. All right, and then on the calculator, we just plug it the way it shows up. So that will be, again, 6. Oops, where's this going? Come back. So that would be 6. All right, so it was 6 divided by cosine 75 degrees. All right, and we get about 23.2. All right, so we get X this time is 23.2 feet. So again, remember here, we were finding the ladder, so the ladder is measured in feet. All right, so for number 18, so we have Jaden is flying a kite and lets off 275 feet of string. if the kite is 150 feet above the ground. So here's the string of the kite, right? And the kite, so that's 275, and the kite is 150 feet from the ground. Okay, so they want us to find what angle does the string make with the ground. So we need to find this angle right here. So this is going to be our x. So this is where, again, when we're finding the angles, we use the inverse. So that is going to be let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and label. So this is going to be H, O, and A. So here, okay, so it's going to be 150 over 275. Again, always write your SOHCAHTOA so we don't get confused. All right, so and then here this time we need to do the inverse because we're finding the degree. So it will be x equal the inverse of 150 over 275. All right, so again we do the sine inverse. Again, let's do 150 to 75. All right, clear. So we do sine inverse what was it, 175? Yeah, 150 and 275. And we get 33.1. All right, so our angle here is going to be 33.1 degrees. So that's the angle that the kite make with the ground. All right, so go ahead and try these two on your own and then pause the video and then come back to see the answer. All right, so welcome back. So let's take a look at this one. So we have Max built a skateboard ramp that is 16 inches high. So here's the ramp and it's 16 inches. Okay, hold up. It's 16 inches high. So that's off the ground. So it's 16 inches. So now the angle formed with by the ramp and the ground is 21 degrees. So here is 21 degrees. And then they want us to find the length of the ramp. Again, this is going to be our x right here. Always label if this is my angle. O, H, and A. So then here we have to sine opposite over the hypotenuse. So we have sine of 21 degrees equals 16 over x. And now we switch them place. Okay. So now we can go ahead and plug that on our calculator. So we're doing 16 over sine of 21. I believe it was 21 degrees. Yes. Okay. And we get 44.7. I mean 44.6. All right, so that will be the length of the ramp in inches. Okay, so now for number 16, so we have a fireman lean a 36-foot ladder against a building. So here's the ladder, and it's 36 feet. If we place the ladder 7 feet from the base of the building, so if this is the building here, right, so it's 7 feet from the base of the building. They want to know what angle is formed by the ladder and the ground. So we're looking for that angle right here. That's going to be our x. So again, this is going to be H, O, and A. Again, opposite, adjacent meaning next to, and then the hypotenuse. Okay, so remember the hypotenuse is the longest side. All right, so again, since we are finding the angle here, this is where we're going to need to find the inverse. So since we know A and H, we have to use cosine. So we do cosine of x degree because we do not know the angle is 7 over 36. So now we do the inverse. To get x, we do the inverse cosine. Again, we press the one with the little -1. 7 over 36. Okay, and inverse cosine 7 over 36. And we get 78.8. Okay, so that will be the degree. That's from here, about 79 degrees angle. All right, so that's it for today. So if you needed to pause, review, rewind, okay, anything you don't understand, and then go ahead and answer the questions below. All right, so have a good one. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.